How are you all today? Awesome. Are you all sleepy? Those who went for lunch, I don't know whether you feel sleepy or feel stuffed. Sleepy. So how was your sitting? I sat a slightly shorter session. Yeah, for the past few weeks I've been getting you all to do just half an hour. Today was just 20 minutes. Yeah, because early on a group of them, we had lunch and then it was quite heavy. So if we go do 30 minutes then they will be yeah. So did you all hear what I shared with the two kids earlier? Yeah. Sometimes when we do meditation, even myself, for a long time, I thought that meditation was simply just sitting there and just try to keep still for as long as you can, yeah, and fighting the pain in the leg, yeah, and trying to like just wipe out all the thoughts. And sometimes you actually succeed, you know. Occasionally you actually like just sit through and like, suddenly you hear the Shifu ding, it's like, wow. Then later you realize that many times when that happens, it's because you were yeah. What we call 昏沉三昧. 昏沉 means drowsiness. 三昧 is samadhi. So drowsy samadhi. So a long time ago, when I was in consulting, after one of the novice retreat, so I went back office with my hair short, but you know, in the office attire. So my colleagues, when they saw me with my short hair, then they were like, "What happened? You went back ICT?" ICT is in-camp training. As a matter of fact, I've never been back for in-camp training before. Somehow they never call me. And by the time they called me, I was a monk already. So at that point in time, when I went back to the office with my short hair, they thought that I went back ICT. I said, no, I went for a novice retreat. And they're like, oh. And that was when some other colleagues came forward to share that they didn't know that I was a Buddhist. And they were Buddhists also. So then we started exchanging notes. And I remember one of them asking me, like, so what do y'all do? Meditate? I said, yeah, we meditate. Then he asked me how I meditated. So I told him, you know, and at that early stage, it was just anapanasati, just observe the breath, count. Then he said, then what do you do after that? And I said, just continue counting. Then after that, then you meditate lah. Then after that, what are you trying to achieve? I said, attain enlightenment. Yeah, that was way back. And then he asked, so how does that lead to enlightenment? Oh, that was a very good question, you know. And when he asked me that, I just mumbled something. Yeah. And that was like a mini wake-up call. Yeah, because that made me realize that at that point in time, I really have no clue how counting of the breath can lead to enlightenment. Like, oh yeah, how does that lead to enlightenment? I know that wisdom comes in at some point, but how does all this work? Yeah. Some years later, I ordained, and then after all these years, so then you start to realize that meditation is not simply emptying your mind of thoughts. Yeah. In fact, in the formal Buddhist meditation, there's no part, yeah, that requires you to empty your mind. Yeah. Because even when you are meditating on the breath, mindfulness of the breath, your mind still have the breath. Yeah. As far as samatha meditation, yeah, the the technique of quietening the mind is concerned, we always have an object of meditation. The fact that there's an object of meditation, it means that in your mind there's something. And what is that thing? Your object. Yeah. So that's why in the Chinese Zen tradition, there's this phrase, 见魔砍魔，见佛砍佛. Yeah. Very controversial. The first part, if you see Mara, you vanquish Mara, you eradicate, you kill Mara. The second statement is very controversial. You see Buddha, you also kill. Wow. In some religion, you'll be stoned to death for saying this. But in Buddhism, why is it that this is said? It's because if you are doing your practice, and unless your object, first of all, if your object is the breath, even if you suddenly have vision of the Buddha, that is a distraction. You should only have your object in your mind. Yeah. Then a deeper level is any kind of concepts, is apart from the truth, because the truth itself, ultimate reality, has no form. So if you see the Buddha, that's still form. That's still a concept, and you should eradicate the concept. When we say 见佛 or 砍佛, it is referring to conceptual ideas. Yeah, because ultimate reality is beyond concepts. So then, what about the two kids? Yeah, because at their age, if you ask them to just sit there for 20 minutes, for them it's an eternity. Why is it an eternity? I've shared before in some classes. Yeah. For them, Ethan, how old are you? 13 years old. So for Ethan, he has experienced 13 years of human life in this present life. Okay? And if you consider the fact that our memories start to kick in more like 3 to 5 years old, so let's say it starts to formalize from 3 years onwards. So he would have 10 years of human life memory, okay, on average. Yeah. Whereas, let's say somebody who is Bernard, how old are you? 18. In front of Buddha, 18. 40. Yeah, so Bernard would have had 37 years of human life experience. Yeah? So I have this theory that our perception of time has many factors involved. Can I have the visualizer? Yeah. Switch to the browser. If it works. Yeah. Next time just minimize it, then you can just maximize and you can see it. You should maximize it if there's a maximize mode. And you should refresh it because now it's not refreshed and it's actually stuck. You should refresh it. Yeah, okay. I think it's working. Or not. Is it working?
It's not static.
Huh? Is it static?
I think it's still trying to work.
Oh, don't know what's going on. Is it working?
Yeah, the Raspberry is alive.
Raspberry Pi is alive?
I mean the Wi-Fi.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's nice.
Okay. Okay. So, this is my formula. Our perception of time. Let's say for him, 20 minutes, okay? For for him who is at 13 years old versus someone at 40 is basically 1 over 13 minus 3 multiplied by k times a over c over b. Yeah, so this is 1 over 40 minus 3 times k multiplied by a over b. Yeah. Oh, my hand is stuck there now.
Yeah, it's a bit laggy. Maybe you should just connect the hardwire.
Okay, maybe we can do that also. Okay, don't kanchiong. Where's the white color cable? There was a white color dongle. Yes. Okay. Moment of truth. Okay, is it better? Seems to be slightly better. Okay, let me explain before we go into today's topic. So, this would be 110 multiplied by AK over B. And this is 1 over 37 AK over B. Now, of course, you see that AK over B is like a constant. So, which is bigger? This value or this value? Which is bigger? So let me give you a choice. Option 1 and option 2. So I can see that a lot of you fail your maths. So let me do a recap. Whenever you have a fraction where the denominator is bigger, if the denominator increase, then the value itself decreases. Okay, so this is an inverse proportional relationship. So when the bottom value increases, then this value becomes smaller. Yeah, can understand? Yeah. So which is bigger, number 1 or number 2? Number 1 is bigger, right? Yeah. Now, simply put, is 1 over n AK over B. So n is the number of years. Yeah. So as we grow older, then this value becomes smaller and smaller. Yeah. So this is my pet theory of our perception of time. Yeah. But what is A? A and B correspond to how much we like or dislike the experience. If we like the experience, then B becomes bigger. If we don't like the experience, A becomes bigger. So the more we don't like something, the longer it feels. the more we like something, the shorter it feels. Like, good times pass very fast. Yeah. So for Ethan, maybe while the rest of us, as we meditate for 20 minutes, the 20 minutes would feel like 1 hour for him. Yeah. So how was the 1 minute just now? Don't know. Yeah. 1 minute. Did you all notice the 1 minute just now? Yeah, when the alarm went off, no. It was so fast, right? I just set the alarm, and I really set and after that, as I was, sharing, and before you know it, it's over. Yeah. But the strange thing is, the 1 minute is the same 1 minute when you first start off meditating. It is the same 1 minute at the end of the session. But the 1 minute at the start probably feels different from the 1 minute at the end. Yeah. So our perception. Yeah, our perception. But even more importantly is that when we are meditating, to take this opportunity to observe ourselves, observe the state of our body, observe the state of our mind. Yeah. We should, when we observe that there is agitation, work towards its non-agitation. But we should first be aware that there is agitation. Yeah. If there is drowsiness, we should first know that there's drowsiness, then work towards its non-drowsiness. And it is in this way that we start to gain awareness of the state of our mind and body. Yeah. Just now I mentioned about how Buddhist meditation leads to wisdom. Yeah, leads to wisdom. I'm sure many of you have read books, heard talks about how if we meditate, then we can give rise to wisdom and we can see things as they are and so on. Yeah. For many years, when I read this, seems to understand. Then later on I realized I don't understand. Now I seems to understand. Maybe a few more years later I will think, I actually don't understand. Yeah. Yeah, we need to go through this process. Yeah. But as it is, I seem to understand. Yeah. And it is to train ourselves to know what is happening. Yeah. Not simply to sit for 20 minutes, for 40 minutes, for 1 hour, 2 hours, and then to be able to sit such that in that 1 hour you don't experience anything and the time go past very quickly. Yeah. Would you like your sitting to be like that? If you want, it's very simple. Just go and take some cough medicine. Yeah. Take some Panadol or what, knock out. 1 hour later wake up. Yeah. That's not meditation. Yeah. So even if you have only 5 minutes while waiting for the train or waiting for a boss to come for a meeting, yeah, just sit there and watch yourself. Yeah. Maybe you dread going for the meeting. As you are sitting there waiting for the partner to come, waiting for whoever to come for the meeting, watch the dread. Yeah. Observe the dread that arises. Then you will start to realize that Buddhist meditation is actually quite exciting. Yeah, not dull and just. Okay, let's see. Who is new here on my left side? Let me see. Yes, we have a gentleman at the back. Tell us your name and how you got to know about this group cultivation. No, he raised his hand. KS, you must look at.
Hello.
Have awareness, yes.
My name is Ven Chuan. I came to know about this through the internet. Yes.
Which part of the internet?
Facebook.
Facebook?
Yes.
How did you get to see it on Facebook?
Because some of my classmates are affiliated to this temple. So they asked me to like the Facebook page. So I happened to see that there is a shofar today. So I'm interested. So I came and listened to you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I study mathematics, by the way. So yes.
So you should like this.
Yes, very much.
And of course, since you know mathematics, I should add in a plus C, where C is a constant zero, for it to be fully formed.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but yeah. Sense, yeah.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you.
Who else? How about Han Yuan?
Hi, my name is Han Guan or Han Yuan.
Yes.
How should I introduce myself? I know Shifu when he was actually in
Army, yes. Yes, way back.
Way back.
Yeah.
And we caught up with each other for various reasons.
Yeah.
So I don't live in Singapore, I work and live in Beijing. So I only come and see Shifu when I come back for New Year.
Yes, yes.
And we always like to do this because then we can talk about memories and how finicky it is.
Yes, and the spoon.
Yes, the spoon. I'm sure you've used it in your talks before.
A few times. Yeah. I've known, let me see, 25 years ago.
I stopped counting after.
Yeah. We were in the, I think we first know each other in Maju. Was it in Maju?
It was Maju and
then Ven Chuan. Yes.
I forgot about Maju. So maybe we met even earlier before that.
Yeah. Possibly. Who knows?
Singapore is so small.
Yeah. And then after NS, we keep bumping into each other. There was one time I was in uni and we were at the Mount Faber, and then I bumped into you right on top. There's this restaurant there.
Totally forgot. Not surprising.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
for me,
So how many years have you been in Beijing already?
this will be 18.
18 years. Wow, okay.
Yeah, so time again, very tricky thing.
Very tricky, yeah. But I'll tell you, I do have his photo in my Facebook. In fact, our photo, we took some photos when we were in Taiwan. And if I show you now, you're like, he look more or less exactly the same.
No. I've passed that stage. Shifu does look very similar.
Yeah. Well, good to see you back.
Yes, happy to be back.
Yeah. Welcome.
Okay.
And today he brought a friend. Tell us your name.
Hi, I'm Tracy from Beijing, China.
What would you like to tell us?
I don't know, I have no idea actually. And Han Guan told me about you.
And everything he told you about me is true. It's all true. Including how amazing I am.
Shifu, you are so optimistic.
Yeah, and not so humble as well.
So I'm very happy to be here, and just the first time actually.
Have you been to a temple before? In Singapore?
No.
So this is the first time?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Even in Beijing, as a temple. Oh no.
Temple.
I have been temple too many times. But
Too many times.
I don't know. There's a 说法 or.
Oh, Dharma talk.
Not to a talk. I think what she meant was like you will go to a temple to pray and visit.
Yes.
But maybe not for a talk.
Right.
But
Okay.
I do know she does some Buddhist chant as well. I don't know the background of that.
Okay. 你念什么经？什么咒？心经。大悲咒。
没有，大悲咒比较少。
阿弥陀经。
那个不是，还有一个有点长的那个
楞严经。地藏经。
本愿经。
地藏菩萨本愿经。
对。
好。
对，有念这些。Just try to get some peace. It's I was being very angry for a long time.
You're very angry for a long time.
Yes, just about my personal life. Get some trouble and feel very hurt. So that's why I'm very angry. I don't know how to how to fix my problem. And just to talk to my friend, talk.
Then
And then
become angrier. And you tell your friend about your anger, then your friend, your friend, wow. Then you become angrier. Then if your friend agree with you, you become angrier about that person. If your friend don't agree with you, then you become angrier with your friend.
just to try to fix my problem, actually, and yes, get some help.
Okay. So have you managed to fix your anger yet?
Yes.
Okay. Yes?
Yes. It's a very...
Like after coming here? Wow, instant cure.
Actually, I think time is good to me. I try to 念经 and I try to get myself to very busy.
Okay.
I tried a different way.
Okay.
And maybe 2 or 3 years after,
Okay.
I feel better.
Okay. Good. Well, we'll maybe share a bit more later, and then we can see what else we can do.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you.
Very good. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Who else is here for the first time? Any other angry people? Okay, I think on the right. Have you introduced before? You have introduced before?
This is my first time here, but I've been to your class 2 years ago in Kuala. I attended the Heart Sutra class, and thereafter I attended a few sessions where you conducted over the Sunday afternoon. After you moved, and I've been to the lodge in Geylang one time, and because of the distance, I didn't manage to get back. And it is quite a coincidence that one of the Sijie, Biling, I'm not sure whether she's here, she got in touch with me, and then I wanted to get in touch back with Sifu again.
Okay.
And I just happened to know that there is a Dharma talk here today.
Okay.
And yes, I'm glad to be back. Thank
Good.
you.
Welcome. What's your name again?
My name is Sam.
Sam. Good.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, alright. So I think the rest are all season parking holders. Those who have not renewed your season parking, please... one more who? Oh yes. Okay, yes, come.
Hi everybody, I'm Linda. This is my first time here, but I attend your meditation class every Monday.
Okay.
So how I came to know this, my grandson tutor. My grandson tutor.
Your grandson's tutor?
Yes.
Wow.
She registered over here, and she stayed at Mokyo. And after that, she found somewhere in the Communist there is a course also. And she asked me, Linda, you'd like to take over my place? Actually, I'm a Christian.
Welcome.
Yes. And
are you still a Christian?
I'm still a Christian. I'm a baptized Christian for about very since young.
Okay.
So she came, she talked to me, and she says, only you and your husband are Christian, the rest are not Christians. Because I believe that they make their own decision of the religion. I don't force them.
Okay.
So she said, you want to try? I said, yeah, in my mind actually I wanted to try what's the difference between the Christian and Buddhism.
Okay.
So I said, okay, since she offered me her place, and she even paid for me.
Oh, wow.
I want to return her down. She said, no, you go and try. If you like it, you carry on.
Okay.
So that's why I know to be here. Today is my first time here.
I see.
For Sunday, only Monday. Tomorrow I'll be here again.
Very good. Welcome.
Okay, thank you.
I do have friends, participants from different faiths. I have some students who are Jews, some students who are Catholics. When I was in the Buddhist library, there were some participants who were Malay. Who were Malay. The thing about Buddhism is that within Buddhism itself, when the Buddha started giving teachings, he did it in a very interesting way. He gave teachings with no intent to make people become his disciple. So you can come for 10, 20 years, 30 years, and you can still continue to be a Christian. We don't share the Dharma to make people drop their religion and become Buddhists. Maybe that's why our numbers start to dwindle. But sometimes I do think about this, If I have to choose to have more Buddhists or to have more people learn the Dharma and as a result have less suffering, which would I choose? For a while, it was a bit of a struggle. When I was younger, there's no struggle. No struggle because when I was much younger, it was very clear, more Buddhists. Then later on, it became a bit of a struggle because I started to wonder, so what if you're a Buddhist? Because anyone can call themselves Buddhist, Because the fact is that a lot of Buddhists in Singapore and worldwide do not really know about the teachings. And for that matter, even when we know, we may not be able to fully apply or appreciate the subtle nuances and actually benefit from it. So, on the other hand, a person may not officially be a Buddhist, but if a person can start to learn the teachings and actually have a change in mindset, the only conversion that in Buddhism exists is the conversion of our thinking. It's the conversion of the way we speak, the way we act, the way we think. That is the conversion we are interested in, not in what you fill up in your form. A few days ago, it's okay. Don't worry. We'll later lock the door and... No, I'm just kidding. We're on YouTube. So, just for the record, I'm not locking anybody here. Later on when we finish, please pan the camera around and show that this wonderful lady has gone out. And when you reach home, please send a text to one of our volunteers. As a matter of fact, a few days ago, I met up with a long-time colleague, and he's on my Facebook, and recently he posted something on mindfulness training. And there was something that he said about how meditation is a mental exercise and not so much chanting. Not so much a religious practice like chanting. So when I saw that, I was a bit like, since when is meditation a form of chanting? So also I wrote that. And then somebody else came in and asked, but, chanting can be a form of meditation, right? So I'm like, oh gosh, here we go. You see, chanting, when done in a certain way, can be a preliminary form of meditation. It can be meditative. But meditation does not have to be chanting. So when you look at the term meditation used in almost all Buddhist contexts, it rarely just points to chanting. So as a result of that, he texted me and we decided to meet up. And this a colleague from way back in 2000, 2000, 2001, and 2002. So we met up, and it turned out that, and so when we met up, he shared with me his encounter with Buddhism. So he was a Christian also. I think his current state is a bit ambiguous. But he said that in his when he was in secondary school, he was in this hostel in NTU, and then under some exchange scholarship program or something, and then there were some students who came and then encouraged him to go to church. He went and then he converted, and then after some years, I think in his 20s, he kind of like not really working out for him. So I think he became more like an atheist or something. Yeah. But I didn't really, go in it. So are you a Buddhist? I didn't really ask that. But he himself, he said that in 2013, 13 or 14, he was advised by his doctor, to go and meditate. He was having trouble sleeping. He was, according to the doctor, he's thinking too much. So the interesting thing is that he didn't immediately meditate. It took half a year of goading on, of nudging by the doctor friend before he tried meditation. And then he told me his adventures with meditation. He said he went to various centers, he went to Geylang, go to different centers, and he had a hard time looking for a center to meditate. He went to this center, and then the center said, oh, you need to register, you need to sign up for a 3-year course, whatever. And this center. So, sometimes Buddhist centers, we don't make it easy for people to sign up. Not any particular one, but most are like that somehow. So he said that ultimately he managed to find one, and at some point he got in touch with mindfulness meditation. And then later on, at some point he was in the US, back and forth and stuff. So in recent years he got in touch with MBSR. The key thing is this, that for him, he didn't embrace Buddhism because it was a religion from his parents. But it was through his own experience that when he went for the meditation class, everything that was described, he could experience for himself. And that was the thing that struck him, that, hey, there's something going on here, Gosh, the instructions given, and when you do that, you do see a direct feedback, and then the text actually says this, and it comes back, So that day when we met up, it was very interesting because he was going for the instructor course for MBSR. It's one thing to attend MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction program. It's one thing to be a participant. It's another thing to be an instructor. So he's going for the instructor course. He has been in touch with different mindfulness group, and he shared with me that he has been teaching in some of the local schools in Singapore. And so he showed me this thick book as part of the instructor training. And on the page that he flipped to, I look at it, it's all the Buddhist teaching. Because the founder, the person who founded MBSR, is a Myanmar doctor, and he imported, or rather exported mindfulness from the Buddhist sutras, Satipatthana Sutra, and distilled it so that Westerners can try it out. But if you want to go deeper, to become an instructor, he will give you the full enchilada, which comprise all the Buddhist teaching. And the conversation that day was very interesting. He said, wow, it was mind-blowing. He looked at all this. And the funny thing is that he thought all this were something that the teachers came up with in present day. So I told him, no, these are, because he was like, wow, the teacher is very good, have all these things. I said, all this is from the Buddha 2,000 over years ago. And he's like, you serious? I said, yeah, this is from this sutta, that is from that sutta. I said, really? All this is from, are you sure? I said, yeah, these are all from the suttas. So this is the thing about Buddhism. For many Asians, as much as we inherited Buddhism, we sometimes know lesser about Buddhism itself, the origin, the source of it. Yeah. And because of not knowing, then we think that it's archaic, we think that it's outdated. Yeah. So come for as many teasers as you want. Yeah. Okay? So, welcome to SGC. Today we are going to continue with the purification of the mind. Today's topic continues from the past few weeks. What is today's date? 11? Okay, let me adjust my visualizer. Okay. So we are now on the segment of Noble Eightfold Path, factor number 7, right mindfulness. Zhen Nian. And under right mindfulness, there are 4 foundations. What we call 四念处 or 四念处. So we have gone through Sen and Shou in brief, and then we have Xing and Fa. So we have the body, we have the feelings, and again here feelings is more referring to sensations rather than emotions. And then we have mind, and we have Dharma. Dharma with a small d. So today we're going to go through mind and Dharma collectively, and then perhaps go into some of the subtle nuances. But even more importantly, to look at how we can observe this in our day-to-day life. Okay? So, what is the difference between mind and Dharma? So sometimes the 4th item is translated as mental objects. Yeah? So sometimes translated as mental object or Xing Fa, but the original term is Sen Shou Xing Fa. So what is this about? Now earlier on I mentioned about how feelings does not refer to emotions. Yeah, so where would emotions fall under? Yeah, emotions would, in some cases, fall under the mind. Yeah, the state of the mind. Yeah, so, but the mind is not just about emotions. Yeah, if we refer to certain states of the mind, then it would include emotions. But the mind can be active also. It can be doing something, such as thinking. Yeah. The mind can also be influenced by certain states, such as it can be having uplifting mental states. It can be obstructed as well. So there are different states that our mind goes through. Yeah? And as it goes through all the different states, it can have different objects inside. So let me just give you an example, okay? So for example, 2 persons are having similar mental states. Let's say the two of them are happy. Okay? So the mental state is happy, but the object in the mind may and most likely are different. Yeah? One may be happy because, let's say, the boss gave him a raise. Another may be happy because he's going to go on a leave. Yeah? Or two persons got retrenched. Okay? Yeah. So encountered the same thing, but one may be happy, one may be sad. So you can have the same mental object and both may feel differently. Yeah? Because maybe one of them is going to retire already, so got retrenched, good. Suddenly you have a lump sum, yeah? Whereas the other person maybe is only in the early 30s and then get retrenched. Yeah? So the mental object can be the same, but the mental state may be different. The mental state may be the same, but the object may be different. Yeah? Okay, so you see the difference? Huh? So in the Buddhist teaching, the Buddha delineate in this way, and then in some cases further isolate, yeah, and partition it into very granular states. Now this is further highlighted in what we call the commentaries, the Abhidharma. But for this today's session, we're not going to go into Abhidharma. We're not going to go into all the 51, 71, and 100 over mental concomitants. Yeah? If you would like to attend that, we have the class on Wednesday, but that is drawing to an end already. Yeah? That's the Abhidharma, where they go into very fine delineation. Okay? Today is to get us to be aware that there's this different distinction. Yeah? Because for most people, the distinction between the mind and the object is sometimes clear, but sometimes blur. Yeah? Because many times, the moment we are upset, we link the upset with that person. So, the mental objects, also the original term is Dharma. Yeah? So, Fa, Dharma, here, if you recall, the word Dharma has like three broad meanings. The first one refers to all phenomena. The second refers to the principles and structures that defines all things. Yeah? And the third refers to the specific kind of structure from which all good arise, yeah? Which is taught by the Buddha, Buddha Dharma. So here, in the English writing, we often use small d and big D to delineate and distinguish the difference. When we are referring to the Buddha Dharma, we use a capital D. When we are referring to all phenomena, we use small d. Yeah? Or when we refer to general principles and structures, teachings, then we use small d. Bear in mind, Sanskrit has no capitalization or big cap and small cap. Okay? So, why is this term used here? This term is used here indicating all phenomena. But wait, does it mean that when we are doing these four foundations, then we are supposed to go and observe all phenomena outside? The simple answer is no. Yeah? But in a way, yes. A lot of times in Buddhism, answer is yes or no, and yes and no. So consider this. What is this? How do you know that this is a pen? Because of the shape. What is it about the shape that tells you that this is a pen? Huh? Sorry? You are used to it. So, used to it meaning that you have used something like that before. So, I only have two pens. Both are identical. So have all of you used Pilot G207 before? Huh? Has all of you used a Pilot before? Not all of you, right? Huh? How many of you have never used it before? Used a Pilot before? Huh? So only a few, right? How about Pilot G2? How many of you have never used a Pilot G2 before? How many of you have never used a Pilot G2 0.7 before? Yeah. When we become very specific, then it increases, isn't it? How many of you have never used this particular pen before? But yet you know that this is a pen. Isn't it interesting that you have never used this before, and yet you know that it's a pen? What can a pen do? Huh? It has the, oops, I just dropped it. It has the same function. What kind of function is that? The function to write. So, by write, so despite never having used it before, not this particular one, you know that it is a pen that has a function of writing. Would one of you like to come and try? Can I have a volunteer? Just one of you. Come and try to use this pen. Just someone, come on. Time is running out. Just someone to come and, okay, we have Van Guan. Give him a round of applause. Very good. Okay, try to write with this pen. Wu Zhi Tian Shu. So what happened?
I've been duped.
He's been duped. You see, while we were talking, I took out the where's the thing? Where's the, yeah. So while we were talking, I took this out. But you see, even after taking it out, from your distance, you still think that it's the same pen. Yeah? And it looks like that pen. And as long as it looks like the pen, you think that it functions that way. Yeah. So what happened? Before he come forward and use it, in your mind, you already have a pen that can write. You see what has happened? Somehow, we have magically transported this pen that doesn't write into a pen that writes in your mind. Yeah? That's why when he tried, and then he's like, eh? And were you all surprised that he couldn't write? Somewhat? Maybe some of you don't care. Like, yeah. Let's give him a round of applause. So in Buddhism, we say that, is there a pen outside here? Is there a pen here? Now we are not so sure anymore. Well, there is something here, okay? And it's actually not called a pen. It's not a pen. It's all because we conventionally agreed to call this a pen, and we have an idea of writing. And this seems to match with what we have seen before of a device of something that can be used to write. Yeah. So when we see this appears in our mind. And not just this pen, but all the things, they exist for us only in our mind, through our senses. While there is something here, that something here is actually not a pen. It's just this something. Oh, concept, well done. Yeah, there's something here, and then it exists in us as a concept. Yeah. So this process goes through our senses, and so because our mind it's not limited to only this or that. So anything and everything in this world can come into our mind through our senses. And therefore, the objects is not limited to this or that. And that's why the term Dharma. Yeah, Dharma. Because we can potentially have the whole world in our mind. But sometimes we are very fixated in a certain mindset and we refuse to accept some concepts. So it is our own choice to limit. Yeah? The potential is this much, but we may choose, okay, I only want to know this. Then the objects that can be in our mind becomes limited. Yeah? It becomes limited. It is also translated as mental objects because when the things outside enter into our mind, then it is just a mental construct. Yeah? It's no longer the same as what is outside here. No longer the same. So think about what happened just now. Yeah? When you first see me raise the hand with the pen, and all of you readily agreed that it's a pen, yeah? And yet when Hang Guan come forward and tried to write, he couldn't write. Yeah? For that matter, any of you. Yeah? The reason why we were surprised is because before he even write, there's already a pen in our mind. So then it means that how many pens are there? How many pens are there? There's one thing here, and we can call it a pen. And before we even see this pen, there must have already been a pen in our mind. Yeah? And that's why when we see this, and it more or less matches with what is inside our mind, then we say that this is a pen. And once we acknowledge that, then now there's another pen in our mind. So altogether, how many pens? Many pens. Let's just say there are three. Okay? There's the one that is outside, that's a physical thing. Yeah? I say that this is not a pen, but collectively we agree that this is a pen. Why? Because if you pass this to a baby, will the baby know that this is a pen for writing? How do you know that the baby don't know? You all readily say, don't know. How do you know the baby don't know? It can be realized by asking one question. What does the baby do if you give the baby a pen? Huh? The baby take the pen and put it in the mouth. But some adults do that also, you know. But usually adults don't do that. Usually out of habit and sometimes out of stress. Yeah? But for babies, it's quite unanimous. Yeah? Whatever, in fact, not just pen, whatever they can grab, they might just put in their mouth. And they'll just start, and they'll start salivating. For whatever reason. So from this behavior, we can perhaps infer that a baby has no concept of a pen. And that's perhaps why when we go to nursery, when we go to nursery, I say nursery now. Last time it used to be kindergarten or primary school. Now I think they teach the kids pen in nursery. Yeah? Or maybe even playgroup. Yeah, they probably teach in playgroup already. Yeah? Boys and girls, what is this? Pen. Okay, next lesson. Yeah? So babies are not born with the concept of a pen. Then at some point, whether at home or in a playgroup or in a nursery, then the teacher shows them this and then tells them the name. And the name includes the writing, includes the sound. Yeah? And depending on the medium that they use, they may know this as a pen or a what? Chinese? In Mandarin? 笔, yeah? 原子笔, or 墨笔, or gang bi, or whatever bi, yeah, or in Hokkien, bit, yeah. So once this concept has been introduced, then now in the mind of the child, there's this concept. And in the same way, we are introduced to many concepts. And sometimes we see something new that was never introduced to us, and we infer certain things about that. We sort of hypothesize, we extrapolate, yeah? We try to infer what could be that thing based on what we already know. Yeah? We try to predict as well, not just in terms of different things, but we try to predict for something what will happen into the future. Yeah? We do all that. So far, so good. So, when the Buddha gave teachings on these four, and then specifically into mind and Dharma, for today's session, I want to come back to something about the mind, and then another thing about the Dharma. The example I gave just now was about the mental state, yeah, namely emotions. Just now, our friend Tracy shared that for a while she was quite angry. Yeah. In many classes I've shared, people come to Buddhism, and perhaps to religion in general, for peace. Yeah. And many times it is to run away from or to try to solve anger. Very few people come to Buddhism or religion to solve happiness. Come to temple, then pray. Namo观世音菩萨，我做保庇，我买安尼快乐。Yeah. Oh Buddha, please bless me. I'm too happy these days. Laughing too much. Can you please help me? Ask my boss, don't praise me so much. Yeah. Can you help me, bless me so that my kids are not so obedient? I've been too healthy all my life. Yeah. 50 years of my life, 60 years of my life, I've never fallen sick. I'm so envious of my friends. They can take MC. They get to be hospitalized. Can you please let me fall sick? Nobody. Have you ever heard of anyone who pray in that way? Or for that matter, in a church? Yeah? Is there anyone who will pray? Yeah. Oh Lord, the shepherd. Yeah. Please bless me for me to fall sick. Never, right? So you see, this is something very interesting. That although there are so many different religions, there are certain commonalities, you know. And there are certain commonalities. So what I observe is that out of the different people who come, a lot of people come to try to solve anger. So anger is one of the root defilement. Defilement referring to that which can cause our mind to be sullied, cause our mind to become impure, to become agitated, perturbed, unstable, not at peace. Yeah? There are many names for it, but it's not the only one. Yeah? So there are three roots: yeah? Greed, hatred, and delusion. Hatred is the more common one that we usually want to solve. Yeah. So consider this. So if we have hatred, but hatred is a strong word, huh? Do you all have hatred? A bit of an awkward question to ask, huh? Yeah. How about anger? Have you all felt anger before? Say yes. Yes. Anger we can all identify. Yeah. Anger. How about aversion? Oh, but for sometimes some people told me, Sifu, you use very chim word. Aversion. Yeah. Basically, something that you dislike. Yeah. That you feel repulsed towards. Averse. Have you all felt that way before? Yes? Yeah? Like in Singapore, we are averse to many things. Like the train delay, yeah? Then we are averse. When the sun is out, we are averse to it. When the sun is not out, we are averse to it. When it doesn't rain, we are averse to it. When it rains, we are averse to it. So, aversion. How about greed? Do you all have greed? Say yes. Yes. But does it mean that we are greedy people? Yeah. Again, greed is a big word. Yeah. And sometimes we may joke with our friends. Wow, I feel so greedy. You know. Yeah, but we usually don't honestly think that we are greedy people. Yeah. But at the same time, food is something that we can quite readily say that we have desire for more. Yeah. That we have craving for more of it. How about, do we have greed for sales? Sale. Yes. You know? Yeah? Yes, yeah? Yeah. Like, if you want to buy something, what is one thing that you all like to buy? Like currently. Not Chinese New Year goods. Yeah. What is something that you recently bought? Let's say a pair of pants, let's say a handphone, whatever. Would you feel excited? Would you say that you feel excited when you see an advertisement, yeah, where let's say the item is $500 and now you see an advertisement that it says is $400? $400 is not enough to make you, to whet your appetite. Huh? $100 discount, you know? That's 20% discount. Huh? Not enough. How much discount do you all need for you to take out your wallet? Huh? Just shout it out. Huh? How much? Half price. Oh. So this is how overpriced things has to be. You know John Litter sale last time? Is John Litter still around? No more, huh? You know why it's no longer around? Yeah. So, usually in June, there's the John Litter sale. And it's usually 50% discount. Yeah, and people get very excited. They should actually not be excited. Because what it really means is, for the rest of the year, they are 50% above price. So I don't know which is the reason why, but they are no longer around. So, while we may not say that we are greedy, but we may have wants. We may have desire. And we may have cravings. Be it for things, for food, for people, for experiences. Yeah? Sometimes we have experiences for something that we have not experienced before. But simply because our friends told us it's nice. Simply because we watched a video, yeah, on YouTube, or on Facebook, because our friend went overseas, took a panorama shot of it, and you're like, wow, so amazing. And then we go. Yeah. There was once I was in Nepal, and in one of the route, we went up this very high mountain, and there was this resort. And early in the morning, at about 5 o'clock, all of us woke up and climbed up the special stairs to the very top. Yeah. And you know what? That they actually built this pavilion right at the top for us, for visitors, for tourists to look at the sunrise. What was a bit jarring was that was one of the highest structure in the whole vicinity. So the telcos actually built a lot of antennas up there. They installed a lot of antennas around the pavilion. So fortunately, because we went up so early, I was able to get a frontline seat right at the edge of the pavilion. And so I had an unobstructed view of the sunrise. And then before you know it, there was this very light bluish glow. Oh, and I started snapping. And then as the minutes passed, more and more people come. And then soon you could see the break of dawn. a hint of orange hue, and then this glow of redness start to emerge. Yeah. And you could see the rays start to cast shadows across the whole landscape. And then you realize that mists were present all across the mountain ranges, and you could see certain features start to appear. And I was like, wow, it was so amazing. And I took a few more shots. And then I turned around, wow, there are a lot of people around. And then I thought, I have enough shots already. I should let people, have a few shots of the early moments of sunrise. So I stepped back, and immediately everybody, whoa. And then I saw some of my fellow, my ex-colleague, Yong-hee, who was with me. And then he was taking photos on the other side. Yeah, he's an amateur photographer. So I was like, oh, this side is also quite nice. So I took a few. And then when I turned around, I saw a very interesting sight. Yeah. I saw, the sunrise was still beautiful, but then I saw the whole throng of tourists. I'm one of them who was a visitor, and I saw all of them line up, wow, focus, and so I took a photo of that. Yeah. And that was maybe 5 years back or something. Yeah, I wrote a blog about it, and it was about perception. Because you see, usually when you see all those panoramic photos, beautiful shots, you only see the scene and it was so beautiful, right? You don't really see what is behind that viewer. And that's what is behind that viewer. There are a lot of other people. And then there are also all the antennas, Yeah. So because of such pictures or images, then when we see it, like now, maybe some of you are thinking, wow, maybe I should go Nepal. But after I finish the whole description and you hear about how there are antennas there, then you may be thinking, yeah. But there will be people who watch videos like this, look at postcards. You know how postcards are always so beautiful? Yeah. And then may then have the craving, have the wants to go and experience it, even though they have not experienced it before. So desire and craving is not always because you have experienced it before. You may have been given an idea of how it's going to be like, and that itself is enough for us to have that want. Similarly, our aversion or anger or hatred. Sometimes we have never tried something before, but because enough people tell us, or the right person telling us about something, and we may form a certain impression. And then that can color and shape our perception of things. So when we do this mindfulness training, it's really not simply just to quieten your mind and then accept everything with equanimity. Yeah? But the first part, initially, is a lot about just observing. Some would say non-judgmental observation, or equanimous observation. But to just be aware for a start. But the interesting thing is, the mind don't just vacillate between greed and anger. No. Throughout our whole day, there are many moments where the mind is sort of, you could say, neutral. Or perhaps more correctly, neither angry nor greedy. Yeah. It's just somewhere in between. And I would say that this is the part where we need to be cautious about. The state of anger, the state of greed, and the in-between, this is related to the feelings. 3 kinds of feelings. Pleasant, unpleasant, neither, pleasant, unpleasant. From the pleasantness, we may start to think, and we may start to desire, want, crave, and have greed over whatever we have experienced. And from unpleasantness, as I said, it may not be the actual thing itself, but what we have heard, what we have perceived. Yeah? And then we develop aversion, hatred, or even anger. How about number 2 and number 3? How about number 3? Number 3 is neither pleasant nor unpleasant. So for that which is neither pleasant nor unpleasant, we tend to not be aware of it. We tend to be oblivious of it. And so from this, we tend to be oblivious. And there I say, ignorant of it. A state of unknowing, leading to, well, you probably guess it, ignorance and delusion. So there we have the 3 roots. But beyond this, many other states would arise. Yeah? In coming sessions, I'll cover some of the states that were highlighted by the Buddha, such as the 5 hindrances, and also the wholesome states, yeah, such as the 4 Brahma Vihara and so on. But for a start, beyond this today's session, maybe we can do an exercise. To try to observe ourselves. Yeah? Observe, like, once in a while, just ask yourself, how do you feel now? How do you feel now? Like now, if you were to ask yourself this question, how do you feel now? Yeah? Don't have to tell us, don't have to tell me, but just just be aware, how do you feel now? Like now when I ask myself, then I realize that I'm perspiring. And there's some warmth and heat and that vapor arising from my body. Yeah? Which is quite common for me when, the duration just after lunch, because, digestive process, and then there's a lot of energy exchange. Each time when we have a change of activity, like when you wake up in the morning, then before you do something else, ask yourself, how do you feel now? This is an exercise that I share with some students who come to see me for consult. Yeah. Because oftentimes, whenever there's a change in activity, there must have been certain thought process. So instead of just enacting that decision, check your mental state. Yeah. Check your mental state first. And ask yourself, is that mental state related to whatever you're experiencing now? You'll be surprised. Many times, whatever we feel and whatever we are thinking of, the mental objects, and whatever we are actually experiencing are 3 different things. Yeah? Or at least 2 different things. Sometimes not related. Sometimes they're not related. And oftentimes, whenever what is in our mind is not related with what is happening right now, then there's a disconnect. And we either feel a sense of anxiety or a sense of unease. So this is the first exercise you all can try. Okay? Yeah. So as and when you are going to do a new activity, check yourself. Just very briefly, just ask yourself, how do I feel now? Doesn't have to be something complex, just as it is. And then check yourself, what am I thinking about? And what am I doing now? For those who have been doing some of these practices for a while already, then you may want to do another exercise, which is checking your intent. Check your intent. Sometimes we jump straight into action. We have a certain mental state, or emotions arising, and then based on that emotion, we just jump straight into action. And we just bypass this awareness of the intent. We just jump straight from emotions. I feel a certain way, so I do this. I feel a certain way, then I do that. Yeah. I cannot tell you how many people who come to see me trying to deal with this. Yeah. So, for those who are more familiar with this practice already, I can try looking at these three things. Yeah. Because whatever I've gone through should be familiar for you already. Then you can do this next part. Look at your intent, check your emotions, and then look at your action. Okay? Okay. Any questions? Yes.
What if you say that the emotions lead to the actions?
You said that the emotions lead to the actions.
For some people.
For some people, I noticed the case with me as well. But my brain is not fast enough to process the intent of what is happening before it actually reaches what is meant to be.
So, when we actually do this exercise, or if we were to observe ourselves, sometimes it does feel that, this is, skipped altogether. Yeah. But it doesn't have to be that way. Yeah, it doesn't have to be that way. So then what can we do? So let me ask all of you a question. When you all sit just now, did your legs feel super comfortable? How many of you didn't feel so comfortable? Raise your hand. And when you had a not so comfortable feeling, did any of you have the urge, to move? How many of you have felt the urge to move? Okay. Then the question is, how many of you actually move immediately? You all didn't move immediately, right? Some of you moved, some of you didn't move. So, in many of the meditation classes, and in fact in SGC, I shared with you before on this, about how sometimes when we come for, let's say, meditation, or SGC, then it doesn't seem apparent, the connection. It seems like, okay, I just sit long, and then, cannot move. And then when you open your eyes, and then look around, nobody's seeing. It's just close eyes already. Or you open your eyes, then Sifu is still look at you, then you So sometimes we may walk away thinking that, so meditation is simply about trying your best to keep still and hoping that Sifu has closed the eyes, and then you can move as you want. Yeah. The number one thing is, there's nothing wrong with moving. We're not trying to make you mannequin. We're not trying to make you statues. There are easier ways to make you statues. Yeah? All I have to do is walk towards you, take this mug and just smash your head. Then you will just, and you will not move. Possibly ever. But that's not what we want to do, isn't it? I mean, that would be murder. So then why do we do all that? And what is the link with what Howie just asked? Yeah? So the simple link here is this. When we sit, sometimes it's not so comfortable, sometimes it's quite comfortable. And when you are not feeling so comfortable, we would say, try not to move immediately. And this is the simple start of the training, mental training. It's not a physical training really. Yeah? It's the mental training to learn to face discomfort at a very primary level. To be able to face it and not be led by it, not be controlled by it, but to be able to still decide even when you are faced with discomfort. It's as simple as that. Because if each time you feel discomfort and you must move, then what does it mean? It means that we are behaving like the light, behaving like the aircon. If you control the aircon, then it becomes hotter. Becomes colder, as I've mentioned in meditation class many times. Yeah? When we meditate, we don't need meditation to do that. Right? You look at small kids. Yeah? You want them to be happy, you give them what they want. You want them to cry, you give them what they want, then you take it away. Immediately cry. Immediately cry. If you never ever give it to them and they never ever see it before, they will not cry also. Funny how. So when we come to Buddhism, yeah, come for meditation or Buddhist classes, is to learn this very crucial part of the mental development. That we can still make a decision. That we have the ability to decide even when it is so compelling, even when you feel the urge to move, even when you feel the urge to do this or to do that, even as simple as to just shift, open your eyes. I mean, when we all first started meditation, even 5 minutes, after a few seconds, it's like, don't feel easy, like, not that you are feeling pain, but for most first-time beginner, you just feel like, just look around and see what's going on. And especially when there's a sound, yeah, suddenly someone open the door. Our natural reflex to just turn around. Again, nothing wrong with turning around. Like if you meditate halfway and you hear this sound, okay, doesn't sound real. But if you hear a roar, shouldn't you turn around and check whether there's really a lion or tiger or a dog or something, Yeah? So there's nothing wrong with checking. But it's to be able to decide when to check. Because many times we lose this decision, we lose this ability, such that any time at work, in school, with our friends, our family, anytime someone do something that is disagreeable to us, then we only have one choice. In fact, no choice. We must retaliate. Anytime something unpleasant happens, then we must fight back. But we don't need to learn that. We already know that. Yeah? And look what that has brought us so far. It doesn't bring us peace. It brings us more agitation in the mind. So, is it possible that when we feel an urge to do something, we have a certain emotion arise? Emotions usually compel us to do this or to do that. Sometimes it compels us not to do it. Yeah. Sometimes it compels us to do something. Sometimes it compels us not to do something. Yeah. Like let's say when you are unhappy with someone, yeah, and that someone asks you to do something, then you don't want, what you want? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, human beings, we are very strange people, you know. Yeah, that's why with automation, efficiency goes up. Because machines, as long as you fill in all the fields in the form, they will process and give you the answer that you need. Yeah, human beings, today you submit, the person is in good mood, okay, don't go off, you'll be ready in a while. Tomorrow bad mood, another person come, fill in the same thing, come back in 3 weeks' time. Why 3 weeks? I thought it's 3 days. Chinese New Year. Yeah. But it's not easy. I don't say it's easy. I say it's possible. Possible not in the sense of luck. Possible in the sense that as long as you put in effort, you can gradually build up this ability. That you can, we, not just you, but all of us, can build up this resilience. Yeah? The ability to overcome our emotions and urges. Yeah. Or what some people would call the primal urges, if you will. Okay? Yeah. But important thing is consistent effort. Consistent effort. For some people, it's as simple as this one statement. Yes, we can have this feeling, we can have that feeling, but we don't have to act upon it. Because sometimes we really feel frustrated, right? How many wives feel like killing their husband? As long as you don't act upon it, it's okay. Right? How many people feel so frustrated with the customer or the boss, you feel like slapping your boss? As long as you don't slap your boss, it's okay. I mean, you're not enlightened yet, right? So you cannot help it if you occasionally have this thought, you want to slap someone, right? Yeah? Just don't act upon it. And as long as you don't act upon it, it stays that way for a while. But don't just continue to entertain such thoughts. Because if you keep entertaining, I want to slap my boss, Sifu say, as long as you don't slap, it's okay. I just keep on thinking, I want to slap him. Then one day you might just slap, you know. Yeah. So part of it is not acting upon it. The other part is not entertaining the thoughts. It's one thing that the thoughts spiritually just arise. It's another thing that after it arises, you still entertain it. Yeah, ruminate over it. Think. Okay? Yeah. So for now, the exercise is go and observe all this. Yeah, and for those who are more familiar, you can observe, check your intent. Yeah, before you act. And for everybody, whenever there's some emotions and then it may be an urge, yeah, know that there's a distinction between having the emotion or urge versus acting upon it. That we don't have to always act upon it. Take back that freedom. All right. Is there any other questions? If not, then we'll wrap up for the day. Today is the 11th. Next week is the 8th. Oh, Quack, yes, you have a question. Sorry? Perception. Perception. So earlier on, I mentioned about the I think it's linked to the pen. Yeah, about how even before we encounter something, we may hear things about it. We may see reviews, or we may hear comments about something or someone, and that can help shape our perception. Yeah. And the key thing is, our perception can be, and oftentimes is different from what is outside. Unfortunately, if we get trapped with our perception, then we don't really give the person outside or the object outside a chance to be experienced. Yeah. I'll tell you this. I had this quite crazy experience back in uni, where there was this professor, Dr. Clement Chia. He taught us control and instrumentation, C203. So in the first year, I wasn't really taught by him, but I heard not so, positive reviews about his lecture. So somehow, I don't know, I didn't realize I was so easily influenced, I always thought that I'm quite an objective person. But then in year 2, when I attended his class, I find myself sitting right at the back and then just picking on whatever he says, And sure enough, I totally messed up that subject. I failed that subject. Yeah. And during the holidays, I just meal of it. I just can't wrap my head around, all my years, except literature, one of the tests which I failed, I've never failed any exams. How can it be possible, How did I come all the way to year 2 in university and then fail 2 subjects? Not just control and instrumentation. And after about 3 weeks to 4 weeks, then went on to the next semester, went for industrial attachment. But by then, I figured something out. That, regardless of how he is, if I do my part, I will increase my ability to learn from him. And so when I retook that subject, I sat front row. There were usually nobody in the front row, but I sat myself front row in my Bermudas and slippers, and I was a repeat student. The rest are all my juniors, and you have to be thick-skinned. You want to learn, you have to be thick-skinned. You sit right in the front and with the notes and foolscap paper and just... Because when you're right in front, you cannot see anybody. You cannot be distracted by anybody. And then I was like, is this the same lecturer? Is this Dr. Clement Chia? He's not so bad. And it was mind-blowing. It was like, no, he's starting to really make sense. Like, what happened last year? Yeah. Then I realized, wow, this is so crazy. Simply because I heard some friends complain about him, people like to complain, Yeah. So, because of that, it colored unconsciously, unwittingly, my perception of him got colored. And of course, because I did okay for other subjects, I never really go and think much. Now that I'm telling you, I'm thinking, how about others? Yeah? How about other things that I've encountered, other people I've encountered? Perhaps I was colored as well, in all likelihood. Yeah? So, perception. Perception can cut both ways. It can cause us to lose an opportunity to learn. It can also prevent us from certain things. It can go either way. Yeah. So at some point, whenever some students bring another friend or colleague or somebody to come and see me, sometimes they will want to tell me about some background, And beyond the name, I would often tell them, okay, enough, don't tell me anymore. And they're like, why? I said, well, I prefer to just meet the person, on a clean slate. Yeah, and just hear from that person. Yeah. I'm not saying that they are going to tell me lies, Yeah. But sometimes the way people express, unwittingly we color it. Yeah. Because it's always our experience of that person. And that will be a distance from that person. And often times we are describing what we experienced, which is in the past. Even a few seconds later, the person can change. A few moments later, a few days later, things can change. So who knows? So that's something to observe also. How exciting. Okay? Yeah. Okay? So, I hope this will be something for everyone to chew on besides the Chinese New Year goodies. This coming week will be Chinese New Year. Next Sunday there will be no SGC, but you are all invited to come over for the Chinese New Year celebration. Yeah, check out the look up for the chat group for information. All right. So here's wishing all of you good health, happiness, and may all of you and your family have a happy Chinese New Year. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了，普愿罪障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛。And before we wrap up, I'd like to also extend dedication to those who who were hurt in the Taiwan earthquake in Hualien, and also those who have perished. May those who are hurt receive suitable aid and medical treatment. May they recover what they have lost. And those who perish in the earthquake, wherever they are reborn in, may they find peace and be in touch with the Triple Gem, learn and practice the Buddha Dharma, and in due time attain to final liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Like chili.